Hi everyone, and welcome back to Pastor Paul's Daily Devotional. It's Monday. Let's get into it. You're here and I'm here, so let's roll. This week we're looking at a very controversial text. It is based out of Ephesians chapter 6, verses 5 through 9, where the Apostle Paul, as part of his household codes, addresses slaves and then masters. And so before we explore that text, we really need to talk about the historical context of slavery, at least in America, which is where most of my viewers are from, and then also in the first century, which is where Paul would have been writing to Ephesus in Asia Minor. So this needs to be said. We can't just look over the context of this passage, and a couple things need to be said. So first, let's be clear, slavery is a sin. Slavery is a sin, okay? It is wrong to own another person. It's dehumanizing. It attacks the imago Dei, the image of God made in that person. And because that each and every human being is made in the image of God, we all have the same worth. We all have the same value before God, and we're all equal in God's sight. Of course, we're also equal because we're also born as sinners. We all need the atoning love of Jesus Christ to wash away our sins, and of course, we're all going to stand before judgment before him. So slavery is a sin. What's difficult about this is that there are those in recent centuries in the West, and of course other parts of the world, but in our context, the Western world, that participated in the slave trade. And Ephesians chapter 6, verses 5 through 9 was used to justify the abhorrent practice of slavery. And so there were Christians that sinned in participating in it. And there were those that were also complicit. They benefited from it even if they didn't directly own slaves. And so that's wrong. Far too many Christians benefited from it. On the other hand, there are also Christians who were abolitionists. There are Christians that fought because of their Christian faith to dismantle slavery. And so one of my heroes, William Wilberforce, fought for basically 20 years, 2 different decades, in the UK Parliament to get a bill that would ban the slave trade. And on his deathbed, they passed the legislation that banned the slave trade in the UK. And that was based on his Christian convictions. More closely, as it relates to EFC Newport, Evangelical Friends Church of Newport, we have Quaker heritage. And so when the Quakers first came over, the Friends first came over from England to this region of Rhode Island, New England, they did own slaves, but early on they became convicted it was wrong, it was immoral. They repented, they released their slaves, and then the Quakers, the Friends, worked hard to abolish the slave trade. And so they repented and they worked hard to dismantle it. And so we need to admit two things when we talk about a text that applies to slavery in the context of New England, the United States. It's wrong. All who've participated in it have sinned. Those who benefited, and by the same token, there's also those who, by their Christian convictions, fought it, repented of it if they were involved, and they dismantled it. So tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to talk about the context of slavery in the first century. But I want to thank you for joining me, and later on, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to get into the text of Ephesians 6, verses 5 through 9. God bless. See you soon. Bye.